Yo, what's up, boys and girls, ladies and gents? We have a new hero preview that I'm sure most of you have seen. A lot of people have contacted me about it and are wondering, hey, what are your thoughts? So here, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts. Here is the preview. It's for basically states like 1 through probably up to 800, so 780 or whatever, for our newest season of Eden, of Doomsday, really. This pool is actually pretty crazy, pretty interesting. The devs are doing something that I never expected the devs would do. They're being a little bit more fair. So there's less heroes in these pools. So let's get into it. Somebody, I actually don't know who's uncredited, has created this pool image. I'm kind of just translating what's on the screen here into, an actual image, just to make it a little bit easier for people to understand and comprehend. So as we can see, week 1 we have the Huntress, Scarlet Siren, Predator, and Rose Noir. Now that's 4 heroes in a pool. Generally, I consider 250 tickets needed to sort of max out a hero. If there is a pool of 1, you can expect 250 to 300 tickets, and you'll max that hero. With 4, you just multiply by 4. So 1,000 tickets should hopefully get you that hero. That's kind of like the statistical average. You can get it in much less. You can get it in much, or you won't get her in using much more. So just expect around 1,000. And I would say if you have under 1,000, you have to consider whether or not you're going to max. Generally, people are okay with 3 copies, and in that case, you'll want to have like 750 or something like that. But again, it's completely up to you. So let's talk about these heroes a little bit more. We have a lot more data now about Huntress, about Prophet, about Siren, Rose, etc. So the Huntress ranged vehicle hero generally goes in the back line, can go in the middle as well, can even go in the front too. You can even flex her in the front. Huntress is doing some crazy damage, some really crazy burst, but she's also a little bit inconsistent. She's susceptible to CC and to straight up death. So it's she's not like a 100% consistent hero, but she has probably the highest burst in the game currently. She just does, and by burst what I mean is a significant amount of damage very early, or like, in one round you do a ton of damage. This girl does that stuff. She's pairing up really well with Predator right now, which is pretty cool because Predator's actually in this pool, and that's a coincidence that Predator's in this pool. It's just like the 4 newest heroes in these pools, or rather the 8 newest heroes in these pools. But she pairs up really well with Predator. People are running her with Anna. People have ran her with Ivan, with front rows. She honestly just does well as like a real glass cannon combo. Glass cannon basically meaning you're incredibly fragile, but you do a ton of damage. So double-edged sword, glass cannon, whatever you guys call it, that's what I mean. If you get hit, you're probably going to take a significant amount of damage, but if you hit somebody, you're going to deal a significant amount of damage. And that's kind of how Huntress is being used, and I think that's probably how she should be used. Again, she is sort of like a bursty hero, but she's susceptible to CC, and she's susceptible to damage, so you really just want to maximize her strengths, and her weaknesses will just show later. Huntress, right now, I mean, I gave her a question mark before. I'm probably going to give her at least a 3. Right now, she's at least a 3, definitely. And we'll see if that changes. Scarlet Siren, also a 3. She's a pretty good fighter hero, but she's not like needed. You can do completely fine without her. I have 0 copies of Scarlet Siren currently, and I pretty much am as strong as a base can be at the moment. And so that's how it's Scarlet Siren. So you don't really need her. She does do well. She can kill a lot of bases. Tech Priestess Cannon Siren's a really good combo. It's very good on the offense, but it is another inconsistent combo. Sometimes it does really well. Sometimes it just gets shut down immediately. So Siren's definitely a 3, and a pretty good 3 at that. Predator, so I do have Predator. Predator is also a 3. She's actually a really important hero. She might even be almost a 4, but at the moment she's a 3, probably 3.5. But we don't do decimals, we just do whole integers on a scale of 1 to 4. So Predator is probably a 3. In my opinion, she's really, really strong. She works really well with Nomad. Currently, you'll see combos like, Hunk Tracker Nomad, Shadow Tracker Nomad, TP Tracker Nomad. Sorry, Predator, I still call her Tracker a lot of the times. Her name is now Predator. She was called Tracker previously. But Hunk, Predator, Nomad, Shadow, Predator, Nomad, etc., etc. Used very, very frequently. It's probably the best shooter combo in the game. Or the best counter to vehicles in the game. But, like I said before, she's being used with Huntress, and we'll probably continue to see her being used with Huntress instead of Nomad. Nomad can actually do kind of fine on his own. He can survive, unlike Huntress. So with Huntress, you really just want to push out all the damage possible, like I had said earlier. So Predator is definitely a 3. She's really good. You pretty much want her. Maybe, like I said, maybe even a 4, but for now, we'll keep her at a 3. We'll see once Huntress really comes out in the old states and we have a lot of data whether or not Predator might actually become significantly more important with Huntress. I'm not sure. And then we have Rose Noir, who is a hero that I struggle with. She's a 2, but she's like not even that great of a 2. She just doesn't do anything significant. She's kind of just like a meh hero. On paper, she seems pretty well, so she's a ranged archer, generally meaning the back row. She has decent percentages, and she has decent skills, but it doesn't really do anything, and she just doesn't do enough damage is really the problem. If this was like 700% damage, like some of the other skills, maybe she'd be better, but even then she'd probably just be a 3. At the moment, Rose Noir is definitely a 2. Nobody really uses her in any combos, so I mean, maybe even a 1, but she's probably a low 2 for now. There's not really good combos with her. I mean, you can use her with Koche and Anna. You can use her with Nomad. You can use her with Predator. There's just better options than Rose in almost all of those examples. But you pretty much have to use her with basic attacking heroes or basic attack modifying heroes like Anna, like Predator, Nomad, Koche, etc. So Rose is a low 2. Overall, pool 1 is actually pretty solid. We have a 3 question mark on Huntress, a 3 on Scarlet Siren, and a for sure 3, maybe 3.5 on Predator. Already, just having those 3 heroes, it's really, really good. It improves this pool a lot, or like the likelihood that the reason for you to go for this pool a lot. Rose Noir is a 2, so she actually lowers it pretty significantly. But overall, it's about a 70. This pool is about a 70, 68. Out of 100, which is actually kind of average for these pools. I've noticed that they're almost always kind of around 68. So it really does depend on your heroes and what you need. Like I said, Predator might get bumped up because of Huntress. Huntress is doing a lot of burst, but she's not a completely consistent hero. I think if you are like a hit and run type player, then Huntress is going to be really, really good for you. If you're someone who kind of sits still and tanks a lot of hits and dishes them out, but you're kind of, you stay in one place. You're not like hitting and teleporting, hitting like before you even see the battle, you're just porting away. I think that's probably the playstyle for Huntress. I'm not really sure about just having her sit there and kind of be on defense. So that's pool number 1. Pool number 1 is definitely good, about 1,000 tickets again. And consider the other heroes in the pool. Don't just consider Huntress and Prophet. So let's go to the next pool. We have Prophet as the kind of new guaranteed hero. So Prophet's a support fighter, usually middle row, but I think you can flex her really anywhere. She has this minus 70% troop recovery stuff, which is crazy, and then a bunch of debuffs. She has a link, which so far links have been very underwhelming. And see, she has 750% damage and suppression. So if Rose had 700% damage, no suppression, whatever, I think it'd be better, but Prophet does. So generally, I think you want to pair Prophet with heroes that do skill damage. or sorry, rather have a bunch of combat skills, but you don't have to. So you can probably just pair her with Tech Priestess Wrath. She's going to do really well. Kamikaze, she'll do well, I'm sure. She's just pretty crazy. This minus 70 is enormous. Right now, healing metas it's a healing meta. Healers are really, really strong. Cannon, Glutton, Kami, Wrath, Tech Priestess. They're all really, really strong at the moment, and that's because they heal a ton. Prophet kind of ruins that. So I've only seen very, very few battle reports with Prophet. She's good. So far, she seems good. Definitely a 3 again. Maybe even a 4. We'll see. Right now, a 3 question mark. Wrath. So let's move away from Prophet. It's going to be the exact same thing, 1,000 tickets. So, I mean, that's not terribly confusing. So Wrath right now is arguably one of the best heroes in the game. If not, maybe the best. He's like for sure a top 4 hero. In my opinion, it's like Tech Priestess, Wrath, Death Rider, Kamikaze, Nomad are top 5. In no particular order are like the top 5 heroes in the game. You can literally just plug them in really in any combo. And it's going to do really, really well. And Wrath is obviously one of those heroes. So he has this reflecting armor ability, which is just absolutely OP. Basically, if he charges up an armor, and then when it gets damaged, after it's charged up, it reflects that damage. So no damage is taken, and it pushes it back to whoever is dealing it. So if it's somebody like Bird or Nomad or something who's going to do a ton of damage, Wrath actually just wrecks them. He also has this Shattering Fist, which basically just activates the reflecting armor quicker, and then he also has a minus troop recovery, but it's not like amazing. Yeah, Prophets is probably just overall better, for sure better. But in any case, Wrath is just a crazy good hero, for sure. 4, like I said, probably definitely like top 5 hero in the game for sure. I don't even think that's questionable. Probably even top 3 hero in the game currently. So definitely that boosts pool number 2. Then we have Shadow. So Shadow is a hero that a lot of people hate, but he's actually not bad. I've been using Shadow, Predator, Nomad fairly regularly, and I don't even have his 7th ability, and it's pretty solid. It's not terrible. Shadow is not horrible of a hero, but that'll probably change once Huntress comes out. We'll see where Shadow goes. At the moment, he's probably like a 2.5. Hunk, you can just use Hunk, Predator, Nomad, and it's basically the same thing. So Shadow is definitely not like a needed hero, and there's not really any other combo where Shadow's good. In my experience, there's not really any other. People have tried using Shadow a ton. I think people have basically been just giving up on Shadow and either relegating him to the Shadow, Predator, Nomad pools or just not using him at all. So a low 2. I would just say just an average 2 for Shadow. And then we have Glutton. So Glutton's gone over some changes since in his lifetime, even his name, but also his skills. He's been debuffed. I mean, he's been buffed. He's been nerfed. But he is a front row fighter. Definitely front row. One of the problems is he has to be basically in the front row. His skills kind of rely on it. He has a counterattack. Yeah, I mean, that's cool. He puts clarity on his back row, which is really, really, really important. It's why he's oftentimes used with, Scarlet Siren or Bird, Hummingbird, something like that, to basically make them immune to CC, which definitely improves their reliability. And then his 8th ability is pretty much the reason he has to be in the front row. If this hero is in the front row, blah, 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 you take less damage and then you heal. Otherwise, he's kind of just useless. If you don't have his 8th ability, you can put him in the middle, but yeah. So anyway, Glutton's a solid 3. He's just an all-around 3. You can use him in a lot of combos. Glutton Tech Bird, Glutton Cannon Bird, Glutton Cannon Nomad. He goes with a lot of heroes. He's a good front row hero, but he's not like amazing. So those are the 2 most important pools by far. Those are the 2 biggest pools that people care about. You have the best chance of unlocking these 2 new heroes in these 2 pools If your plan is to go for just the new heroes, if you only care about the new heroes, go for them right now in these weeks. If your plan isn't, then you have to consider the other heroes in the pool. So Prophet being a 3, Wrath being a 4, Shadow a 2, Glutton a 2. It's basically the same. They're both about like 68 out of 100, which again is pretty much the average on pools. There have been some really, really, really OP pools though, and some pretty crappy ones. So in any case, I think if you need Wraths, you probably want to go for pool number 2. You probably want to pick Prophet over Huntress, and it's mostly just based on Wrath, because you pretty much need Wrath. In today's meta, you really need Wrath. If you don't have him, you're going to be significantly weaker. So I would say if you're just going to go for either pool 1 or 2, I would choose 2 if you don't have Wrath. If you do, then you kind of have to make your mind up on what you need. Huntress is a really good burst hero. Prophet is probably a really good defensive hero. So kind of cool, actually. Anyway, then we have pool number 3. The only hero that we know of is Scarlet Siren. She's the mainstay hero. And then pools 3, 4, 5, and 6 are just going to contain the 24 Season X heroes. So they're all pools of 6. 4 pools of 6 equals 24, and it's going to be different heroes each time. So we don't actually know. Like I said, Scarlet Siren's a 3, solid 3. And we'll see who the other heroes in the pool are. It won't be Huntress, it won't be Prophet, and it won't be Wrath. I think it's actually Shadow. But in any case, it won't be any of those heroes. It'll be the rest of the other heroes. So like Glutton, Rose, DR, Kami, Nomad, Koshé, Patriot, Wanderer, etc., etc. Then we have pool 4. Yeah, so it was Shadow. So that's kind of weird. They just know that Wrath is, I guess, too good. I'm not sure. I don't know why they wouldn't just put him instead of Shadow. It's bizarre. Whatever. No, actually, that is correct. It should be Shadow. Sorry, I was getting confused for some reason. In any case, pool week number 4, we have Shadow and then 5 other Season X heroes. I probably would ignore this pool. I mean, unless they come out with like Death Rider, Nomad, and Kamikaze like all together, and Wrath or something. I'd probably ignore this pool. And then pools 5 and 6, you have another opportunity to unlock these heroes. I wouldn't go for pools 5 and 6, probably. It's going to just be a lot more tickets to unlock these heroes. So, I mean, I would just do it in the first 2 weeks. But if you can only get like 2 and you're waiting to get more tickets from 5 and 6, then go ahead and do so. The reason why you might wait for that is there's like extra cumulative purchases. That'll be, 5 weeks after the other pools. So, I mean, in 5 weeks, you should be able to make quite a lot of tickets, even if you're completely free to play. If you're spending a little bit, if you're buying VIP, if you're using, if you're doing things correctly, you'll get several, like at least a couple hundred tickets to use again. So that's about it for these pool previews, guys. I know this video is pretty long, but there's a lot of information. It really, 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 the 2 most important things to consider when going for pools is how many tickets do you have and how many copies of the heroes do you have. If you have none and you have like 200 tickets, please do not go for the pools. I know it looks good. You're like, oh man, I can get a copy of the Huntress and the Scarlet Siren, but it just sets you back in the long run. You're just going to have so many heroes who have 5 skills or 6 skills, and they're not really that good. They're not really that usable. It's better to have a weaker maxed hero than it is to have a 5 skill strong hero for the most part. So that's about it for me, guys. Eden is starting up very, very soon. I will be streaming the beginning moments of Eden, so hopefully this video comes out before that. I'll try to get it out right now. But yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Let me know your thoughts, and good luck. All right, peace.